All right, we're live. What's up, boys and girls? There might be a few girls in the chat, right? Mindset Mondays. Hope everyone is having a good day and ready to make it a good week. Kind of let a minute or so. What's up, Jerry? What's up, everybody? What's up, Ian? Shane? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna let a few dudes roll in here. Let things go on for a couple minutes. But it's live Mindset Mondays. You guys can ask questions about mental conditioning, game, pickup, women, relationship management, whatever you want. All right, of course, you can ask it. And if I like the question good enough, I'll answer. All right. But today we have a topic, of course. We're going to talk about hardship addiction. Okay, so people who are addicted to hardships. All right, and we'll get into that. So addicted to hardships. Have you ever, good afternoon, Walter, how are you? Have you ever, like, people in your life that are always into problems, right? Like they always seem to have problems, and it's almost a badge of honor. It's like they're always trying to overcome this thing, overcome that thing. There's, how are you doing? Yes, I know I need to get super chats up. I'll figure that out. Maybe this week. All right. Maybe I'll figure it out by Friday's live show. So Friday's live show should be at noon. We'll talk about game and pickup stuff and women. More focused on that on Fridays. Get the girls Fridays. So anyway, yeah. So you get these people that are just like, they're always overcoming, but it's like their BS problems that they put themselves in usually. A lot of you guys have this problem with women. All right. This is a pattern that you get yourself into with women, where you're always trying to chase after or manage some girl, right, in order to have a good, decent relationship. I mean, you might start off okay, and after, first 3 or 4 months, you're now in it where you're trying and struggling to maintain frame and leadership in that relationship. And, you have to ask yourself, like, why is it that people do this? What's the drive, right? And so the thing is, people do this because it's actually kind of an addiction, usually. And I had it described to me well. What described it well was a gambling addiction. Okay. So gambling addictions aren't necessarily addictions because people are addicted to winning the money. Winning the money after a while, or winning in gambling and coming out on top, it's almost inconsequential after a while. Somebody wins a bunch of things, finally gets himself out of the hole, gets on top, wins a bunch of money gambling. That money is usually thrown right back into gambling, more of it. They gamble their earnings, they gamble their winnings, they get themselves right back in the hole. Because you see, gambling addiction is more based out of getting out of a hole or getting out of a deficit more than it is the actual winning. Well, a lot of people, and you have to be careful that you don't fall victim to this as well, but a lot of people will do this with different parts of their lives. That instead of actually getting better, they're addicted to being in a deficit and constantly trying to climb themselves out. There's a certain amount of neurochemical reward we get from doing a bunch of action to give us that success. But instead of climbing that mountain, you're digging yourself out of a hole, right? You're putting all of that effort and energy in getting that neurochemical feedback of being successful and achieving through getting out of problems. And then once you're out of a problem, then you find yourself unmotivated almost, and you feel good for a moment, but that good feeling sort of goes away, and then you get yourself right back into another problem. Again, many of you guys do your relationships like this. You'll be with the same girl and constantly getting yourself out of the doghouse, constantly getting yourself out of a problem with this girl, constantly managing some problem in her life, right? Or it'll be different women. You You deal with this problem, deal with this problem, deal with this problem, get out of the relationship. Oh, wow, my life is so much better. I'm single again. I don't have this toxic woman in my life. And then the next one, right, happens. And you're back in that hole with a different girl. It happens to a lot of you guys. Women do this all the time too with men. Or it's just constantly trying to get yourself out of a hole, right? It's just, well, never really quite making it in your business because your vocation or getting your money situation together because you're constantly, in some deficit. You're constantly a victim of your own decisions and you're constantly trying to get out. Right. And so, that is something that we want to not do. All right. We want to avoid that. You need to recognize if you have this addiction, if you're addicted to constantly being in hardship, right? And allowing yourself to fall into these deficits. So a lot of times people too will make other people's problems their problem. So you'll circle yourself with friends, even family and people that you know and people that you allow into your circle or people that have all these problems, and then you take it upon yourself to be the solution to their problems, right? And of course, if you're focused on somebody else's problems, then it gives you an escape from focusing on your own problems, which may be painful or difficult or hard to face. But of course, not facing your own problems doesn't solve them, right? And so your problems still exist or often get worse while you sit here and struggle with somebody else's bull stuff, right? Trying to fix somebody else. A lot of you guys bring in girls into your life and you're fixers. You want to fix her from, from herself and her bad choices, bad decisions. Yeah. And the problem is, of course, you'll never achieve excellence that way. You will constantly oscillate between whatever level you're at and below that as you constantly keep digging yourself out of holes and falling right back into them again. So you need to recognize if this is something that you're doing and you need to work and start making some changes so you can stop doing this behavior. And some of the ways of doing this, a major way of doing this really is to level your standards up. Okay. To start to allow yourself to get comfortable with a higher standard and to be uncomfortable with a lower standard. It sounds maybe obvious, I don't know, to some people, but the reality is what happens is when people get themselves out of that deficit or that hole, and I've had this happen, like we'll look at the dating market, when guys start learning game really well and start getting really hot women interested in them, they start doubting themselves. Oh, what's this girl's angle? Or, well, she said that was, sexy, but there's no way that that's sexy. Like, or she said this is attractive, or she's doing this. Like, what's wrong here? It's like they can't accept the standard of women having genuine burning desire for them. Like it feels awkward to them. The reason why is because something inside of them feels deficient, feels like unworthy. Okay. Well, you have to work on your sense of self and realize that you're worthy of whatever you put the work for and whatever you produce and do, right? So, for example, a lifestyle without drama, without problems, without BS, you're worthy of that if you do the work to not be stuck in that and have that. It's something that you should be able to get and be able to have. You don't want to make your problems and your struggles a badge of honor. Okay. You want to get through the struggles so you don't have to, so you create better struggles. All right. So get through your struggles so you can create better struggles. Your struggle should be, I don't know what to invest in next or whatever. I'm not so sure versus I don't know how to get out of this credit card debt. You know what I mean? Your struggle should be like, I have to top myself with this next project versus, gosh, how do I help so this third or fourth project I'm working on doesn't fail? which woman do I go out with? Because I got 3 really hot chicks that have a lot of good attributes and I'm interested in them. Who do I pick to go out with this Saturday versus chasing after somebody who's not interested in you? You see, you have to allow for your standards to get higher and learn to be comfortable with those higher standards and recognize that you deserve everything you are putting effort towards and working towards, provided you're doing the right kind of work. All right. Upping your standards is the quickest way to not fall into this trap of constantly digging yourself out of a deficit and not being attracted to making decisions that are below standard for yourself. So you end up putting yourself excuse me, putting yourself into the same old problems that you've had to contend with. So that's a basic message for today, is to recognize these patterns, recognize these problems that you're constantly having to deal with, where you're constantly digging yourself out of the hole. Ask yourself, are you addicted maybe to being in that hole with that particular thing? Are you addicted to, trying to put all this effort towards solving the same problem over and over again? Or are you ready to have higher standards for yourself and to face down the insecurities, the problems that you might have in that particular area in order to level up, in order to increase your standards and to create new, better problems? See, my goal isn't to eradicate all problems and to have a problem-free life. My goal is to solve better problems, okay? And that's how I know I'm leveling up. If the problems I'm solving are better problems to solve than what previous ones I've had to, then I know I'm going in the right direction. All right, so if you got questions, throw them in the chat. I'm going to go through and answer anything that sort of showed up. Paul, how can I break my addiction to video games? Okay. Get rid of all your video games. It's the quickest way. All right. So change your environment, first of all, and change and this guy also asks, I really do want to increase my SMV and live a better life, but I feel so bound to video games because it's easier than working out. Yeah, well, you don't strive for easier, strive for better, right? Get rid of them altogether, package them up, and send them someplace. It's not that video games are the worst thing in the world. I mean, I know some productive and happy people that do it, but here's the thing. If you're addicted to that and escaping into video games versus facing other challenges in your life, what's happening is you're getting your neurochemical fix, so to speak, through video games. So when you're on video games and you're playing games, right, you're LARPing, or live action role playing, accomplishing something. When you're getting to the next level, doing the next thing, whatever it is, your brain is getting signals that you're accomplishing stuff, and you're getting heavy hits to your dopamine centers and stuff that should be utilized to doing and getting better and moving towards your goal. So if I had, for example, a drug that I would take that would satisfy my neurochemicals, so I didn't have the drive to go out and accomplish things to get those neurochemical desires satisfied or needs satisfied, then what would I do? I would stop taking the drug, right? Get rid of it. And that way, then that's going to create pain and it's going to create a void. So you get rid of the video games, creates a pain, creates a void. And then you have to fill that void with something. You have to do something with that pain. And as I say, pain is wonderful. Pain is a gift to help you project you to the next level. So you take that pain and you use it. Never waste pain. All right. Never waste pain. Use it. Always use it to make yourself better. Some of the most impacting times in your life where you can really take yourself from lower level to higher level in different aspects of your life is when you're experiencing a lot of pain, okay, or distress. So that's what you do, man. You get rid of it. You get rid of the games altogether. It's not to say that you couldn't often in the future ever have video games. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But right now it's an addiction. So you need to break the habit, break the addiction, and fill those needs through accomplishments and doing other things. And once you've done that for a good period of time, let's say about a year, and get a little start there. If you want to, introduce games back into your life, that's another thing. But now you're going to be doing it from a standpoint of power over this thing, not from a standpoint of weakness, where you're trying to, figure out how to get over not playing video games and doing stuff and wasting your time, right? Let's see what else we got. More questions. Hit that like button. Yes, please. We're pretty organic here, so people don't hear about me usually unless you shared it or unless you've liked it at the very least. So yeah, hit that button. All right. I have the impression that having a high SMV is more important to keep a girl on your terms than to get into her pants. Would you agree with that perception? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, some women have trash standards and will sleep with losers and sleep with unattractive people and sleep with dirtbags. You know what I mean? There's a hypergamous drive to seek the highest guy that they can find, but understand that women inherently have insecurities and low self-esteem too. And sometimes they have polluted attraction triggers as well, meaning for whatever reason, like abusive guy, for example, is what triggers her to be attracted to him. And they're relatively stupid and not very self-aware, unfortunately. I'm not saying all women are like that, but many are. And they're going to continually make stupid decisions with mating. And so they'll sleep with low SMV guys all the time. But keeping a girl, yeah, she has to see you as better than she is for the long haul. If she's going to abandon a polyamorous strategy that she might have, abandon her hypergamous needs to settle with you, she needs to see you at her as her best, right? And so that's where your SMV comes in. But you're doing your SMV for you though, too, right? You're becoming a better version of yourself because life is just better that way. When you're achieving being the best version of you, life is better with or without women. And that's what SMV really is. And that's mental point of origin too, isn't it? Okay, when it comes to women, how can I sell myself without qualifying myself? Well, that's very interesting. So two ways. One is be the product, right? That's the first thing. Okay. It's a lot easier to sell a product when the product is good. Okay. It's a lot harder to sell a product when there's a lot of problems with that product. This is common sense. So be the thing first. Be the hot dude. Be the dude. And this goes back to the SMV thing. Be the guy with high sexual market value, right? And so once you are the thing, now you just work on making social connections. You're not selling yourself. You're just holding yourself to a high standard, and you're making connections with other people. We're social animals. So making a social connection with a woman is part of our drive. With that social connection, you're illustrating through your behavior and through your game and through those skills that you are a sexual being and a sexual option. And not only that, so add that to your SMV, right? And add that to some seductive qualities you might have. She sees you as not just a sexual being, but a sexual option for her. And that's how you do it. You do it really through that social connection, becoming interested in her, learning about her perceptions, and then making that connection with her where she feels good about talking to you and she feels that sexual tension as well. And you're enjoying her company as well, right? And that starts from the pickup. That starts from the first couple texts off of a dating app. That's how you do it. You're not saying, look at me, blah, blah, blah. Guys do that. They try to sell themselves. And you know what that signals? That they're a try hard And what a tryhard is somebody who is less valuable. It's a weaker, maybe beta male, or perhaps just a douchebag who's missing a lot of pieces. Okay. And so he tries hard because he's compensating for those things. At least that's the perception. When somebody is the thing, right, that everyone desires, they don't have to try to sell themselves at all, do they? They just make those connections with people and then things happen for them. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. But if you're trying to qualify yourself and qualify to women, it's because there's a self-confidence thing. There's something missing inside of you that we need to strengthen so you can show up and be that better version of you and be that thing with confidence and knowing that you're desirable, right? Okay. Question. I have the impression that having a girl. Okay, we answered that one already. The morning routine video you did about a year ago. Yeah, dude, morning routine video. You guys want to look up morning routine Apex Mindset. You'll get a morning routine video I did. It's about 50 minutes. It describes 9 minutes of daily meditation and mental conditioning work. That it's a good way to start the day. So anyway, that's what this gentleman is referencing. So the question is 5 minutes. Yep, it's 5 minutes of peak performance, 5 minutes of gratitude, and 5 minutes of intentions for other people, along with meta. Yep. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you do that. Yep. You have to work your body out, but you have to work your mind out too. That doesn't mean just feeding your mind. That's, but it means actually doing conditioning with your mind. And that's where some of the meditation exercises come to play, mindfulness work, journaling, visualization techniques and visualization activities, stuff that I work with guys on in consultation sessions. Usually this stuff is going to feed your brain and condition your brain and strengthen your brain so that you can be that alpha person that you've always wanted to show up to be. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to do stuff. All right. So I feel like, because this lesson, using your phone, computer all the time. Why am I tired all the time? Do you have any? Well, I mean, if you're tired all the time, first thing I'm going to look at is your level of exercise, your sleep, and your food habits. So you need to look at those things first. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure your exercise habits are relatively, frequent, that you're exercising and getting some movement every single day. Some fresh air is good too. And then also, your food. Let's look at what you're putting in your body. So take a look at those three things first. And you start improving those things and we can start dialing it down a little bit more. But that's a little bit broad of a question, to have here. So let's see. Okay, I'm in the dawn of a divorce and just now, about 4 weeks ago, discovering the manosphere and red pill thinking. It's 42 years old, too late to correct the mistakes in SMV and to achieve high SMV. No, it's never too late. So first of all, I'll never give up, right? So there's that. But it's really men. It's not too late for men generally. It's usually too late for women. Okay, that's the can't even talk. The cold, hard reality of the sexual marketplace is that women run into it being too late for them, which means that it's not to say they can never be happy or never get a guy that they would want. But if a woman is 42 years old and she squandered away her youth, just making bad sexual decisions, and maybe especially if she's saddled with a kid or two, by the time she's 42, her looks have declined. A lot of things have declined for her. She is not in a place to get the strongest option she could get for a man. She's probably going to have to compromise. For her, it's really bad, right? Can be. Doesn't mean impossible. I mean, certainly there are women I've coached who are older than 35 who have been able to find happiness and do really well. But it's a struggle and there's no guarantees for that. For you though, a lot more opportunities. For a 42-year-old guy, you can be attractive to good-looking women and you're going to be attractive for a long time. You'll be attractive for the next 20 years to younger, hotter girls if you take care of yourself. So Don't worry about being so late to the game. Just worry about where you're at now and what you can do about it. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Oh, like blow past up this thing. Okay, what advice you give a friend whose wife is withholding sex? Well, he's lost his frame and he needs to get it back. I would say start referring him to information and channels like mine and start. He needs a whole entire overview, right? He needs a whole overhaul of his entire sexual strategy, most likely. If he is lost frame with his wife and he's not getting sex with his wife, there's no quick answer you're going to give your friend. Your friend has to legitimately want to seek the answers. And if that's the case, you can start having the discussions with them and thinking, you know what to do, right? Like, some of the different steps, at least of reattracting her, that sort of thing. But he needs to get on my newsletter. Okay. I have a free report that goes out. That's at least the begin stage of getting frame back and getting your wife to want to have sex with you again. All right. So that's that first thing that comes out. If you get it, and there's a link in the description that'll start him off. I'm kind of getting that I've only sent one thing out so far from the newsletter since last, summer, 2020. So I'm going to start producing more things that's going to go out. It's looking like this week. I got a second and possibly a third part to that article, or that newsletter, which is how to get a woman to want to have sex with you if in the relationship it's dropped off. So that's actually probably perfect for him. I have a frame course too he can take. I'm not just trying to grift my stuff. I mean, the article's free. It's just that you're just not going to give him a simple one or two, sentence answer, and all of a sudden his wife is just going to be madly in love with him and want to bang him again, right? You're going to have to point him to some of this material. You're going to have to let him know and understand, if he's open to it, that his paradigm and what he's been doing up to this point has been completely wrong and at fault, and that he needs to look at the sexual marketplace differently. He needs to look at relationship dynamics differently. And hey, here are some resources for it. That's the best thing you can do. Then if he's seeking it out and seeking out knowledge, then you guys can discuss things when he listens to a video or reads one of the books that I recommend or whatever. And he, has, hey, what is this seems a little weird, or I have this question. And then you can have those discussions now because he's genuinely pursuing the knowledge, right? You can't save somebody who's not willing to save themselves or genuinely pursue knowledge. This also has to do, back to the topic, the hardship addiction. These people in your lives that are addicted to their own hardship, you have to write off trying to help them until they start demonstrating that they're willing. You know what I mean? And start doing different things and actioning different behaviors, because you will literally waste your time, your energy, your effort listening to people's problems and trying to help people solve their problems. And they're going to turn around and do the same damn thing they've been doing because they're addicted to it. So be careful of that pitfall, right? You got some guy who has his one-itis marriage and he, wants to get the frame back. He doesn't even know what frame is. He wants to get his wife to bang him again. You're not going to just be careful that that's not a situation where he's addicted to that hardship with that woman. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to make sure he's putting in that effort to make actual, real, actionable change, or else you're just not going to be able to save him. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. What do we got here? When your SMV is subjectively high by a chick, other chicks she's sourcing for you by implication, see your SMV is high also. Yeah, exactly. PreSelection. Do that all the time. I do PreSelection now. My girl will tell other girls how good I am in bed to her and all the great experiences we have and all that stuff, and it makes these girls more attracted to me. Yep, I do need a super chat. But right now, I'm just going to read what you guys have to say. Advice to a 27-year-old guy who has minimal success with women, but has never been in a committed relationship. And then a follow-on, do you believe not ever being in a committed relationship puts me at a disadvantage in the dating marketplace at 27 years old? Yes, not having ever been in a commitment with a girl and not having a lot of success with women, it definitely puts you at a disadvantage. Absolutely. So the answer is you got to attack that problem, right? We got to figure out what's wrong, and we have to start taking measures and actions to fix it. Figuring out it's your opportunities with women. I've said this before, are a product of three things: your sexual market value. Okay. Well, actually, I should say it's the quality of women that you have in your life and the abundance of women you have in your life is a function of these three things: your sexual market value, your skill with women, which includes game as well as vetting and not picking the wrong ones. And then the third thing is opportunity, right? Because if you never leave your house or if you live, in Antarctica and by yourself or something, it doesn't matter how good your skill is. You're just not going to do well, right? So having the opportunity and having skill and having sexual market value, that's what's going to, that's what's going to determine the quality of relationships you have with women in your life. So if you're lacking with abundance and with quality with women in your life, it's because you're lacking one of those three things is compromised or two or all of them. So you need to figure out what that is and start taking measures to fix. Okay, I'm in the dawn of a divorce. Oh, you already asked that one. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going backwards now trying to find stuff. Hey, man, thanks for your videos. You're welcome, dude. All right. Yep. A lot of people saying meditation is very powerful for them. It is. It can be. It's something definitely to jump on. Okay. Let's go back to any new comments. Be looking to book a session with you and start tackling the issue. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. And yep, my website it's in the links in the description. You can schedule an appointment with me right from the website over at apexmindset.net. Cool. Well, we're getting about to the end here, I think. Just sort of, how's my day going? My day is going well. Very spectacular. I had a great weekend, a lot of social events, a lot of things going on, a rich and abundant social life as well as work life. So it's good, man. Thank you. I appreciate you asking. Okay. Going backwards, looking for more questions, but if I don't have any much else, then I'll probably go. All right. Which is fine. But you know what? You guys know what to do, right? You guys need to start taking actions to improve your life. And that means getting, and as far as the topic's concerned, getting out of that deficit and staying out of the trap and the holes that you keep allowing yourself to fall into, right? That's what you need to do. That is the lesson for this week. Okay. Smash the like button. Thank you, Tower Guy. Paul, how does never been committed relationship putting you at a disadvantage? Rolo always said didn't. All right, look, it puts you at a disadvantage because game with a woman in a relationship is a different level, and there are different skills you need in managing that frame in a relationship than with casual dating. Okay. Is a funny thing somebody had said, I think it was on one of the podcasts that was on over the weekend, but it was said that pickup artists are great at getting the girl to sleep with them, terrible with what to do the morning after. All right. I thought that was pretty funny. It's very true. Look, game, and we'll say what we're talking about is maintaining frame with a woman. All right. Is very different when you're picking her up or keeping a relationship casual versus allowing more of an investment in an attachment. All right. The difficulty in managing that woman increases with how much of a fixture and complement even she becomes into your life. So if she's just a casual partner among other partners, that's one level of management and frame management that But if you're now in a commitment with her where she's exclusive to you, that's another level. And that's much harder to manage. Let's say you move in together, decide to cohabitate. That's even more difficult level. All right. And what Rollo's suggestion is, and mine as well, is that you're not getting into a commitment and trying to manage that until you have your SMV in order. Okay. And there's a ton of buy-in to want to be with you. Usually that doesn't happen till the late 20s to mid 30s. All right. And remember, commitment doesn't necessarily have to be monogamy, right? It could be something else, like a polygamist style relationship where you have multiple women and you have an LTR, or you have a couple women that are dedicated to you. It could also be monogamy as well, right? Either way. But that's the suggestion. But understand, not having been in a serious relationship with a woman, yeah, it does put you at a disadvantage. The disadvantage being you don't have those skill sets yet. You're going to encounter new problems that you're going to have to solve. Now, would I rather solve those new problems at 35 years old with high SMV versus 21 years old with low SMV? Yeah, of course. I would rather have high SMV. And it's much easier to get the emotional buy-in and get what I want when I have high sexual market value, right? And so, but that doesn't mean that these problems aren't going to present themselves and that I'm not going to have things to solve. I'm still going to have problems to solve. So not a big deal, just like notch count. If you have a really low notch count and your girlfriend has higher notches than you, you are at a disadvantage. Does that mean that you have to now dump her and sleep with several different women? No, I would say keep her around and sleep with several different women with her consent. But that being said, though, no, of course not. It just, you have to recognize the disadvantage and the deficiencies that are there so you can overcome them. If you're less sexually experienced than your partner, yet you're supposed to lead sexually as a man, you're at a disadvantage. Can this be overcome, though, without having to just dump her and go sleep with a ton of women? Yeah, absolutely. You can increase your sexual knowledge and skill within the relationship. But a lot of guys are egotistical and won't recognize the problems and the disadvantages that they're at. They want to assume that they're good or that they're, solid or whatever, especially when it comes to sex. And they're absolutely not. Right. And so that's all it is. I mean, having not been in a relationship, it puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to gaming a woman in a relationship. That doesn't mean, though, that you should be in all these relationships. It just means that you need to understand the deficiency that's there and increase the skill. Right. So what else we got here? Oh, how to get rid of the sex neurochemicals in the brain. I don't know, a lobotomy? Why would you want to get rid of the sex neurochemicals? Why not just have great sexual experiences and relationships and feed those neurochemicals, use them for a positive thing, you know what I mean? Which is having good relationships with women. That's what I use the sex neurochemicals for. I'm not trying to get rid of sex neurochemicals. I want to have those good feelings when I'm with somebody, LTR, game mode on hard. Exactly. Do you think it's wrong to not tell the woman that I'm dating that I have 2 kids? Well, did she ask, and are you lying? Are you concealing it? Probably. I mean, it's not wrong. What do you mean, like wrong morally? Well, probably. I don't know. That's kind of up to you, though, right? You're not obligated to tell her anything about your life. How casual is this woman? Is she just somebody you're having sex with, or does she have an expectation of building into something more? These are all questions you need to ask, but not being honest in lying or not being truthful or lying through omission is usually a sign of weakness, because you're avoiding telling her the truth. Because why? If you have a strong alpha frame, you can pretty much tell her anything and she'll accept it. And that's reality. You can get emotional buy-in for those things. Okay, so you don't need to actually lie about your kids. All right, it's very easy to get a girl to accept that. She only needs to know that she's going to have fun with you and that that fun and those good experiences and feelings in the beginning aren't going to go away because of your kids. You know what I mean? That's all that is. But you're not obligated to like give a girl all of the warnings, warning labels or something on a first date. It's just that why conceal stuff though either? You know what I mean? Okay. You're welcome for the replies. All right. Let's keep going. Do you ever find deep issues coming to mind while meditating? So it's like my brain bring things to mind to deal with in small chunks. Yeah. That's a good thing about meditation is that it causes you to face internal struggles and problems sometimes. And that's a good thing that allows you to overcome those things. Just because you don't think about those things that come up during meditation, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, lurk around in your brain and affect your decision making and emotional responses to the world, right? And so you're able to discover some of these things and get control of them through those kinds of practices. That's an advantage. All right. Got stuck up on my ex that cheated. She kept me in the dark, flaked, and at the end didn't want to have sex with me, but gave me BJ's only. Why did she lie and why got stuck up about her? Well, I need more information, okay, on that. It's probably not going to be, because I have to wrap this stream up here in a little bit. It's probably not going to be encompassing this show here, but I'm going to need more info. You know what I mean? So why a woman cheats, I have videos on why women cheat. All right. There's a number of reasons. She thought somebody else is better for her sexually. Mostly is a reason. Doesn't mean it's true, but that's usually why. Okay. It's usually for sex. That's why women cheat. That's generally why. Okay. She kept me in the dark, flaked. Well, were you a resource provider or not? Did she see you for provisioning? You know, so she was trying to secure a relationship with you due to your provisioning potential. The blowjobs were just her in a transactional relationship with you, meaning that you're providing things for her and she's exchanging it for your giving you a sexual release, but her desire was not to actually want to be with you, have sex with you. Okay. I know that's a hard pill to swallow and people won't like that when I say that, but I mean, that's what that, so without an absence of other information, that's what that tells me. All right. And lying about it, it's strategic pluralism. Women are by nature deceptive. And so when they're executing strategic pluralism, which means banging another dude or series of dudes that she is sexually desiring more, she's suppressing that from her provisioning partner. And she's deceiving her provisioning partner about that stuff. Women are deceptive about their sexual past, their sexual behavior outside of the relationship with you, because that's how they're wired. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helps. You know, she's trash, bro. Go with it. Find another chick, obviously. Okay. Yeah, 54 people. Need to smash the like button. Hey, can you make a video or give some tips on sexual escalation? Yeah, I'm going to have a whole chapter on that in the frame course. Okay, that I'm going to drop here probably within the next month. So I have a course on frame. One module or chapter is going to be on sex. I can talk a little bit about it in YouTube, but not a lot because of YouTube censorship stuff. But when I drop that course, I'll have a module on it, and I'll also have a community that'll happen along with that course. If you take the course, you can have access to the community for free. It's one of the benefits. Other people have to pay, you know, to get into it. It'll be behind a paywall, and behind a paywall, we can talk more about sex openly, right? But I do help a lot of guys out with that in consults and stuff. All right. All right. Book recommendations, Letting Go by David Hawking. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. All right. How do easily weed through all the women out? There seem to be jacked up multiple kids. Seems like needles in a haystack. I mean, all right. Your SM again, opportunity, skill, and sexual market value, right? Those are the three things that determine the quality of women that you have in your life and the abundance of women. So first, let's look at your opportunity. The easiest one to look at is opportunity, where you're sourcing these women from. And if you're sourcing them from, you know, areas that are isolating your numbers to, let's say, single moms or women over 38 years old or whatever, you know what I mean? Then you might be isolating yourself to lower quality women that aren't good, good material for even being in casual relationships. So look at the opportunity. That's an easy one to figure out. If you're in an area that's semi populated, and has enough women in it and there's enough different demographics, then opportunity isn't the problem. It's just you're not getting in front of them. Maybe that could be something. So then, do what you can to solve for that problem. But the biggest thing is, again, sexual market value. Are you attracting low quality women because of your level of attractiveness? It's a real question, right? So you need to ask yourself that and start working on that. But the biggest part is about game and skill. And it's not just skill in game and getting girls, but skill in vetting. So for every bit of time you waste with women that are not good, good matches or good options, you're missing potential opportunities for better options for women. So if I'm figuring about 7 out of 10 women are just not good relationship material, right? They're not going to be good to even have as a long-term casual partner. So other than maybe a couple night lays with that person, you don't want this person in your life. That's 7 out of 10 women, all right, of just about every age demographic. I think it gets more complicated than that, even as it gets higher, as the age goes up, right? So you're talking about 3 out of 10 that are good potential matches. And some of those good potential matches aren't even going to like you, right? So you have to next women very quickly. When you waste time with one of the 7 out of 10 that are not good mating options for any reason, you're missing potential opportunities for someone from the 3 out of 10 or the 30% to come into your life. And so, I have abundance with women. A lot of my clients now have abundance with women because they learned how to vet quickly and get rid of the lower quality women who have lower standards for themselves, and to pick up on and allow women with higher standards for themselves to be in their life. So, oh, no worries, no apologies, dude. Well, wait, I don't even know what you're apologizing for. All right, so last, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it too, dude. Good forum, and the course will be a lot of fun. All right, so let's go. Let's see. In my opinion, during a wild hookup with your significant other at some secluded area, would it be more embarrassing to get busted in the act with just your pants down, or busted with nothing on, and why? Well, I've been busted both ways and I don't care. So I don't understand the question. I really don't get the question. Would it be better for me to or more embarrassing? I don't give a I don't care. I don't get embarrassed about that. I don't know. It's funny. I've gotten busted a couple of times, I've had a lot of I've had a very robust sex life, we'll say, right? With a lot of interesting experiences. We'll put it that way. I've been busted many times before, not all the time, not like some flasher with a criminal record, but I've been busted with girls and getting with girls and stuff. I've been busted without clothes on. I've been busted partially clothed. I don't really care either way, man. I don't know why. You just try not to get busted. Try to be smart. Don't end up with a criminal record. But if you get busted, you get busted. And who gives a crap? I don't care if I'm naked, not naked, whatever, man. You know what I mean? So, all right, cool. Busting up my office. Well, all right, guys, it was good. Good chatting with you. So just go chase excellence, go kick butt, right? Don't get caught in bad toxic patterns. Don't get caught up into hardship addiction and solving the same problems over and over again. Okay. Let's get better problems to solve. All right. Let's solve our problems, get out of any deficits you're in, and start climbing mountains. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for all the support, likes, all that stuff. And until next time.